And we are live. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Moms for Trans Kids podcast. You don't know what I wanted to say. Moms for Trans Kids podcast. Take two. Welcome to Moms for Trans Kids podcast. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. Yes, I am. Life coach, pediatrician, and all-round agitator of the governor of Texas, because somebody has to do it.
I'm right there with
Meanwhile,
you.
I'm also a parent, a mom of 3, and one of them just happens to be trans. As a matter of fact, Kimmy usually says that. And then while I was reviewing the first few episodes with the IT guy, I saw that in the very first episode, I said that.
Every single one,
okay.
I'll say
I
it.
know. I said, okay, this is good. So
I have two
my name is
sons.
Dr.
I have
Lulu.
two sons.
Yes, my name is Dr. Lulu, and I am the, chief host, and I'm joined by 4 other beautiful people who are going to tell us who they are in the whatever order they choose to go. I will show up every Sunday, so help me God, at 6 p.m. Central. If you hear me, if you can see this, just give us a thumbs up, give us a love, a like, maybe even click share. All right, I'm out.
Who's next?
Kim.
Hi. My name's Kim, and I am here, and I am one of Dr. Lulu's long-going guests on her shows, and I will be with you tonight and going forward every Sunday. And I am the mom, single parent of 2 beautiful sons. My oldest is 22, and my youngest is 16. They both let me know and invited me into their world at, 8th grade or so. So I've just been along on this journey with them and supporting them as much as I can along the way, and they are both trans. My youngest is trans, non-binary, still kind of seeing what fits, let's just say. So we're just here for the journey.
Love it. Love it. Vicky?
Hi, everyone. Hi. Yes, my name is Vicki Fowler. I'm a family medicine physician and a strong advocate and ally for LGBTQ patients in my practice and in my life. My oldest child introduced me to the concept of transgender identity 8 years ago. So it's been quite a journey with her. And my middle daughter is non-binary, does not ascribe to any gender definitions or norms, and just expresses herself beautifully in so many ways all the time. And my youngest child is still at home and 17. And they've all taught me so many lessons. And I just want to be here for other parents of other children who have diverse gender expressions, that know their children are valuable, loved, and worthy of all the rights and privileges of all other children. And that's why I'm here on this podcast with Dr. Lulu every Sunday.
I guess I'll go. I'm Foster. I'm a co-host of this amazing podcast with all of these other amazing mama warriors. I am a proud Blaxican. I am non-binary and neurodivergent and queer. I am a parent. I am also the founder of Azuka Morena, the Conscious Mama, and that is my blog page where I advocate for just equity for all. Like, I just think there's enough room on this planet for all. So that's pretty much what I'm about. And now we will let our beautiful guest introduce himself.
Yes, actually, I want to go first before that. So
okay.
For those of y'all who know, I have no fears in putting myself out there. I will ask for what I want. And so our guest today, I don't even know which room we met on LinkedIn, but I was like, I need you to come on my podcast. And the best thing you can ever say to me is yes. And he said yes. And I want to give him special flowers because he's the first ever Black guest on any of my podcasts of trans mask experience.
Yes!
I just wanted to put that out there. It's very special to me. Yes, I love you. Y'all is unicorns. Y'all is
I appreciate that.
Seahorses and unicorns together. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a seahorse. I could never do anything related to pregnancy. My wife handle that stuff. But yeah, I hear you. And I appreciate
We're here for the representation.
Yeah, I appreciate the flowers. My name is Mai Aniafuna. I identify as a Black trans masculine person, trans man, all the things. I started transitioning probably like close to 10 years ago now, when I was around 21-ish, and started medically transitioning around like 23. And outside of my trans identity, which is like such a small part of who I am at this point now, I am a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a researcher, I'm a doctoral candidate at Columbia. I'm almost finished my doctorate and basically in public health. And so my dissertation, which I'm working on, will hopefully add to the body of evidence to make trans care or gender affirming care more efficient, or effective, efficient, all the things. But really, to combat all of the bills that have been introduced. I think we're almost at 600 now. And so the arguments have really been focused around the fact that there is no evidence, and there is some, but I do feel that we need to strengthen the body of evidence so that kids and adults can access the care that we need. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm also a researcher at EdSurge, which is a nonprofit newsroom, and also co-founding an independent school. So I'm very busy. So yeah, I am a little bit busy, but I was like, when I saw Dr. Lulu, I saw your page initially probably a few months ago, and I was like, I love everything that you're doing. Like, just to see parents of trans kids coming together and creating these spaces, it's super inspiring for me, because I've been estranged from my relatives for a long time. And it doesn't really have anything to do with my trans identity. It's a lot of other things. And so I was like, let me come on this Sunday evening and get this mama bear love, because I need it.
We're here to give it.
We got you.
I appreciate
We
it.
got you.
So everything that y'all are doing, I'm sure there's lots of craziness and hate spewed all around, but everything that y'all are doing is valued and appreciated by myself, and I know other people are appreciating it as well. So thank you all for having me on, and I'm ready to talk to y'all a little bit more about who I am and the things that I'm doing.
Yes, and I want to take a moment to give a shout out to 10 people watching us right now on LinkedIn. Thank y'all so much. We love you. Please stop by and say hello like Dr. Ro just did. Just say hi. Don't be shy. 10 people. This is like it's 10x the number of people we normally have. So I am here for every single drop of it. Thank y'all so much. I know my other co-hosts want to say something, so y'all take it away. Y'all got, I don't know what, 8 more minutes to do your thing. Okay, so excited.
I want to say something. Just so, but let's be friends, longstanding. This coming Friday, I'm going to be honored by becoming the chair of the North Carolina Advisory Committee on Cancer Coordination and Control for the state. And this job has never been held by a primary care physician. This is a job that's normally held by a researcher and oncologist, people that are really in the ethos of research on cancer care. But I am honored because my hope is in the next 2 years to advocate for increased in research, clinical trials involving LGBTQ patients in clinical trials, because we know that applying the same formulas to everyone for clinical trials on cisgender men doesn't work. Women are left out, Blacks are left out, Hispanics are left out. So anyway, advocacy, research, I'm so excited to meet you, and hope that what your dissertation is doing will advance the care for transgender patients. I'm sure it will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Yeah.
Love it. We're all so smart. I think for me, what I'm taking away from that is I want parents who can hear our voices to know that, yes, you can love and affirm your child and still be happy. We want to celebrate parenting joy, parenting trans kids joy. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to come up with a word for it one day. But for now, we want to show that you can love and affirm your child and be happy. This is actually a thing. Okay, this is a thing. Like, go ahead, whoever. I think Kim is next.
I don't really have anything specific to say. I know. I'm so glad, Mai, you were able to join us today. And, it's so nice to see a young, successful trans man in the world, just like I'm raising. And it just gives me so much pride.
Yeah.
In so many ways. So thank you again for being here.
I appreciate that. And for you to say successful, sometimes I got to stand back and realize like I'm doing a lot. I've done a lot. So I appreciate that.
You're going to get the
Wait. This is Mai's wife.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Hold on. Leah pulled up.
Hi, Leah.
Annie, yeah.
I need to wear my y'all. Okay, if you know me, you know I'm in denial.
Okay, gorgeous wife. Okay, we see you, Mai. We see you.
So good. Thank you for holding this much needed space. We love you, Leah. We love you so much. I didn't have my glasses on. Oh my God. I was like, wait, did I just see Mai's wife? I was like, wait, hold up. Yes. What about Foster? Did you want to say something to Mai?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, yes, I was like, okay, I see you with the gorgeous wife. Yes.
We had to manually zoom in too.
We also got queer Black love representation. Okay.
Right.
I'm good. Okay, good Sunday for me.
Yes, Black love is a thing, y'all. It is a thing. It is a thing. So I'm going to use the powers vested in me to do a quick 4-minute, like literally everyone has 30 seconds to say one thing that you're grateful for, because as y'all know, I'm big on gratitude, and I just always want to hold space for the ancestors by just recognizing that one good thing happened this week. So I'm going to start by saying Mai came on the show. Very easy. I'm grateful that Mai came on the show. All right, everyone, you got 30 seconds. Go, Kim.
I had a couple of, I won't share personally, but my sons both had some really great wins personally this week. And I am just grateful that we've got some wins this week to really love. And it's I can't go into detail, but let's just say, I'm just grateful for them. I'm grateful for everything that we've got, all the support that I need. I have, within my family and in my circle right here. And I don't know, I'm grateful for too many things to just pick one, Dr. Lulu. So just go ahead.
Well, here's the reason. Here's why I'm going to take a moment and go there. Here's why I think, and obviously I'm not God, I'm not the universe, but here's why I think it's fair to isolate one thing. And you did isolate one thing. You did. Because it is important that when you focus, whatever you focus on gets bigger. And when you say, oh, I'm happy for everything, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a reason why they say write down 10 things. You know what I mean? Like 5 things. Those people that give you to put a number to it is so you can focus on that. Just that one thing. Otherwise, everybody's always happy every day for everything happening. But when you isolate one thing, I feel like the universe is like, yes, okay, let me give you more of that one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all my wisdom.
The things that happened this week were built on other things that I was grateful for one at a time, right? So what's next?
Yes. All right. Foster, go for it.
I'm thankful for my son's 5th birthday. He's made it to 5. I'm thankful that I made it this far in his life, and I'm happy for tomorrow as well. That's simple.
We'll take that. I love it. Yeah. Did y'all see what Foster just did? Cover for tomorrow. Foster, really? You went there, really? All right, Vicky.
I'm going to take the moment to be thankful for one thing in sports and one thing about someone who is here watching us. The thing everyone knows I'm most thankful for is UNC football beat Duke football last night at home for homecoming. So that was big for me. That's why I have a migraine, because I was out till midnight. I'm old anymore. But, I am really thankful that a beautiful trans female entered my clinic this week named Nikki Castle, and she is joining us and put a comment out there. And what I'm grateful for is meeting Nikki this week made me go back to a bookmark that I carried with me for years and had in my car called Walk by Faith, Not by Sight. And being here where I am today and with you all is because of a walk in faith that I felt like I needed to do things and go places, but I didn't know why. And meeting Nikki, who says, this is Nikki Castle, Dr. Fowler's patient and colleague. This is amazing and beautiful and so needed. Nikki left New York and came to North Carolina a year ago, similarly with a sense of faith. I'm called there. I don't know why. And I think it's because of this moment right now and this moment tonight where she's with us and will help elevate our work to help other trans patients and people. And so anyway, it's the universe all just kind of coming together. And I'm thankful that Nikki's here with us tonight.
Nikki, we love you. Here are your flowers. All right. So we got some love back from Leah. Leah said, I love y'all back. And with that, we're going to go on our first break. So if you know the show, you know that at the quarter of the hour and at the bottom of the hour and at 15 minutes till, we take a 2-second break to just kind of give flowers and ask people to come and sponsor the show because, why not, right? So the show is called Moms for Trans Kids Podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu, and I have 3 other parents who are also moms of trans kids. And today we have a special guest who is our first ever Black trans mask. Like, I want you to just know that you have opened up the door, the floodgates for all the other Black trans. I think y'all are unicorns, straight up. And sea horses, maybe not you, but definitely when I learned the concept of it, I said, oh, is that what that is? I was like, I'm so excited. But anyway, so with that, we're gonna send our other co-hosts either to the back room or you can stay, and let's kind of go into the second quarter of the show where I'm gonna ask some questions. So we are back from break. Dr. Rose says, I'm grateful for a sponsorship to our, oh, wow. Yes. Okay, very good. So Dr. Rose is actually honoring me and a couple of other parents. We're going to be talking about parenting children with difficult journeys. That's what I'm calling it. So I'm going to be talking about parenting LGBT kids. It's going to be live in Dallas on the first weekend of December. Yours truly is being honored as a guest speaker and invited to come to a fancy hotel and speak just for being me. What? So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Rowe. All right. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. So the first question I have for you, and if you're watching the show, all 10 of y'all on LinkedIn and wherever else you're watching, if you're watching the show, please do me a favor. Type your questions in the comment section. We will get to your questions, it's for sure. Okay. If you have any comments, if it's lovely, we will. If it's hate, we will not. So tell me, why did you decide to come on a random show by 4 parents of transgender children? Why? I mean, you've told us you're on busy schedule. Why did you choose to do that?
I think that this type of space is really needed, and there's a lot of hate right now for trans communities, but especially directed in the bubble of kids. And a lot of it is under the guise of protecting kids, but whose kids? So I truly believe that representation is really important. If you cannot see yourself in these types of spaces, then it's going to be hard to realize that you exist and that you should exist. At least that's been my experience. And so I actually have been living my life very privately for the past decade. Ever since I started transitioning medically, I made a decision to maintain my privacy and do it all not on social media. So I very recently started to be out in the spaces that I occupy at work, on social media, on LinkedIn, and especially, which is where I get a lot of professional opportunities in my field. And I worked in the risk management and insurance industry for the first decade of my career, and I was not out. And I recently came out to a lot of my colleagues. And so after that, it was really inspiring for me because I had made a lot of really close professional friends with other Black men, and they did not know I was trans. And so that was very scary for me to be building these great bonds and having these fellowship moments with these other Black guys. And when I was not fully being myself, I was afraid that once they learned my trans identity, that then I would be excluded from that type of brotherhood, so to speak. And then I realized that the people that I decided to associate myself with did not shun me for that part of my identity. In fact, folks were actually, bigging me up and congratulating me on like coming this far and like, being successful or making it, doing the things that I'm doing. And so since that moment, that coming out moment, because I've come out, I mean, dozens of times in my life.
Yeah,
So
that's
since
so
that
good.
moment,
I'm
yeah, I've
happy
been,
that 1 second. I'm
yeah.
happy that you went there because that was my next question was going to be.
Mhm.
So, what is your coming out story? I just
Yeah.
love that. I love your story. I love everything about it. I love that you were always out to yourself.
Mhm.
And you just said, you know what? I want it to be private. These are one of the things I want to talk to people about. Like, not
Mhm.
many people are walking around. My favorite keynote is the intersectionality of the Black trans child. And
Mhm.
my favorite quote is, every adult trans person was once a Black trans child
Right.
hiding in plain
Right.
sight.
Right.
I want people to understand that your neighbor could be trans
Mhm. Right.
and you will never know.
Right.
Transness is different for everybody. So thank you for touching on that a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what is your coming out
Mhm.
story if you want to share?
Sure. I think for me, I guess the initial coming out is very different than all the rest of the times that I've come out. And I've had the privilege of passing, as folks call it. I think now younger kids call it stealth. I call it passing. I might be offensive to some people. I apologize. It resonates to me. I have been passing for a long time, and um, at a point, it felt like I was actually hiding. And I had never been a person to hide anything about myself as I was when I was growing up and when I was a teenager and I came out as gay and all the things. Um, I didn't have a problem with who I was, but it was once I started transitioning and I started to internalize the shame of being trans that was being, exerted onto me from external forces, then I started to feel like I needed to hide. And when people started asking me about my name, like, Mai, is that short for something? Well, yeah, it is. But if I told you what it's short for, then you would like, and no, I played college basketball. So with my life being all about sports, and I talk about basketball and sports with everybody that I talk to, any stranger, if I say I used to play basketball and they look at me and they're like, "Oh, were you a point guard? You're a little small." So then I started to make up all these stories about who I was, as opposed to being proud of the life that I lived that brought me to where I am now. Playing women's college basketball, my name, all these things I was very proud of. Being out and holding my wife's hand when we were, girlfriends way back in the day when we were kids, like we were super proud of that. And then when I decided to transition, I didn't have a choice but to come out if I was to tell people my story. So yeah, so that all these years I feel like I've kind of harbored a lot of these stories and lots of parts of myself. And I'm actually a writer. And so to not have like my writing published and out there and like really be true about who I am, that really started to like, decay parts of me. And I just felt like I was just like, I didn't feel good about it anymore. So when I started to come out in professional spaces, I actually had left the insurance and risk management industry and I started to work in research full time. So at the job where I work at now, everybody knows my identity. Everybody knows that this is what I write about. This is the stuff I research. And so even like in my doctoral program, like everybody knows there's nothing to hide. So so I've been on this kind of this walk for a long time. So the initial coming out is like really, it's kind of irrelevant because I came out to people who, would look at me and be like, yeah, I figured that. I figured you tell me that at some point. And now when I'm coming out, it's more so like, hey, just so you know, before we take this friendship any further, this is who I am. Do you still like me or, you know, whatever, because I'm not about to waste my time investing in a friendship when I got 2 babies to invest my love and time in. So yeah,
You know what,
yeah.
I can't let you go any further because I've just been writing furiously. And when you first introduced yourself, you used effective and efficient, and I was like, oh my God, there goes a smart man. Like, I am
Appreciate it.
sapiosexual. For those who do not know what it means, look it up. I am a sapiosexual, and so when you went there, I was like, and he is smart. Let me tell you, the sexiest thing in the world is a smart man. And I've said it with my full chest. And I'm a smart woman, so I'm not against smart women. I just love me a smart man. That was just thing, okay? So that was the first thing you said. And then I want to say, I can just hear when you're talking, you've had the multiplicity of coming out. I want us to talk about that a little bit. People in the queer spaces, in non-queer spaces, they don't realize that we literally are coming out every day. Meanwhile, I've never met a straight person who had to come out even once.
Yeah.
It's tiring, it's exhausting. And at one point, you're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I cussed. It's my show. What are you going to do about it? But, you know, I'm just, can we talk about a little bit about the multiplicity of coming out, what that does to your psyche?
Yeah. I mean, I actually was just talking to my wife about this the other day, I think. And for me, I feel like it was working in a job that I didn't like and not being myself. It just became unbearable because it was like, I'm not doing work that fulfills me. And I'm sitting here pretending to be this cisgender, heterosexual, perfect, successful guy. And I just don't even agree with a lot of the things about maleness and masculinity, that it was like, I was so ideologically opposed to a lot of the things that were like people made assumptions about who I was that I did not agree with at all. You see straight Black guy, a lot of people assume that I'm going to be homophobic, and that really bothered me a lot. For real, it bothered me for a long time, and so sometimes I find myself kind of awkwardly coming out to other queer people, like, hey, just so you know, I'm trans, like, we good. But for the most part,
but this is why I love who I am today. Like you, for the longest time, I was running. When the day my child told me that they were trans, I took off and I ran to the mall. It's a 15 minutes run, and I ran to the mall.
Wow.
And the story I tell is that when I arrived, I looked back and there they were: fear, shame, guilt. They're like, we rolled with you. This is how we roll, right? So I could not even outrun the things I was running away from. So I finally had to face it. I absolutely love the fact that you're talking about the way Black people treat other Black people inside and outside of queer spaces. How somebody said to me at the Black Trans Coalition event earlier this year, he said he never knew he had an X marked on his back until he transitioned to become a trans man. And he realized, wait, now I'm a Black man. Now I have to worry about all the things.
Right.
The Black man, you know. So you kind of touched on that a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about passing versus stealth. You know, and you know, if that works for you, I want you to own it with your full chest. I use queer, and if anybody feels offended, well, chicken bone will offend somebody somewhere, you know. Rattlesnake will offend somebody. I'm not gonna go around worried about what all the people I don't know. I like queer, and I'm sticking with queer. But anyway, tell us a little bit about passing versus stealth for those who may not know what the difference is. And before you talk about that, I'm going to take a minute and go on break because we're at the bottom of the hour. So the show is called Moms for Trans Kids Podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm the chief host. And what we do here is we celebrate parenting trans children. We harness the stories of parents whose kids are trans, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but mostly the celebration part of it, because you know what? What you focus on gets bigger. This segment of the show is brought to you by Apollo Wellness. They are my friends down the street here on the northwest side of San Antonio, Texas. They will take care of you if you're LGBTQ+, and especially if you're dealing with HIV. So go there, find them, tell them that Dr. Lulu sent you. You might even get a discount. and then come back and have me, okay? Apollo Wellness. All right, we're back. The show is called Moms for Trans Kids, and I have a beautiful, handsome, exotic Andy
I'm not sure about
yesterday.
that.
And yes, his wife is watching. And yes, I'm saying it with my full chest. He's eye candy. Oh, she knows. My, thank you for talking to us and sharing what it's like truly to be walking the walk of a Black trans person. All of the intersectional factors that come with it, the pain, the joy, the deeper pain, and the bigger joy. Thank you so much. So we're talking about stealth versus passing, and you were going to tell us the difference. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of different interpretations of it, of the two terms. But I agree with you, Dr. Lulu. I feel like nomenclature changes over time. As you mentioned, the term queer, like some elders might not like that word. They might despise it, actually. But it resonates with me as well. But in terms of passing, I like the word passing because there's also some historical context to that word in terms of race in America, especially. You know, a lot of my grandparents and ancestors could have passed for white. And so, and even for myself, people oftentimes don't know what my race or ethnicity is. And, you know, I usually just say I'm just Black, but I
thought you were Nigerian.
Right, exactly, because my last name. And sometimes people think I'm Asian. So
I
realize that I'm racially ambiguous. And then I also have this element of gender diversity, I guess you could say. But you don't know that unless I tell you, for the most part, in most spaces. Sometimes people like look at me and like, you look a little young, you look a little feminine. Like, so sometimes I get clocked, as they say. But for me, passing is the ability to be in spaces and get the privileges of the dominant group. And for me, that would be, I get the privileges of maleness. And sometimes I get the privileges of whiteness too. So on the other hand, stealth, I think it's just kind of a term to explain the fact that you are passing as a guy. So I look at passing more so as like a more multifaceted term that really describes my experience. Because if I don't say anything, you know, you might not know much about me. But there's a lot of assumptions that you can make that are really kind of opposite of who I really am. So so I don't really use the term stealth. Passing is more of my thing.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? And I want you to, again, like I said, not that I need to give you permission, but I want everybody to give everybody permission to use whatever terms they like. I recently discovered Q+. And I love it so much. I've been using Q+ now when I write, you know, and maybe tomorrow I may get tired of Q+. You know, I think it's okay. And I give credit to my kid for daring to open up my eyes to all the beauty that comes with parenting a child that's like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep on living a lie. And that by living authentically, that made me also look at myself and look at the places where I could also live authentically. Oh my God, I love this conversation so much. Thank you so much for sharing. You know, when you were talking earlier on, I could almost hear, you didn't say the word shame, but you are almost dancing with it because I wanted to kind of explore. I almost feel like maybe when you see cishet men, Black, you're like, should I tell them? Should I not? Was there ever any shame/guilt in the mix? Or would you list some of the emotions, some of the feelings that you felt as you went by? Because shame kept coming. And then even guilt kept coming. You know, I was like, And so anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that as Black people who are like, so for me, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, which is like the hood of hoods. And to be someone who made it out, you know, we have a responsibility to represent Trenton, represent Black people in America, represent first generation students, represent everything. When we occupy a space and we get into a space, we have to represent all the things that, you know, all the people who are not there. And so I think that for me, I don't feel that Black people are more homophobic. For me, it just hurts more when I experience homophobia or transphobia from Black folks. And because that's our community, that's our inherent community. So, I expect prejudice, racism, discrimination in white dominant spaces, but Black folks is my safe space. So sometimes
Woo!
you just want to keep it safe.
Hold on. Let me tell you. Woo! Let me tell you, I am Nigerian, okay? And actually, the piece I'm writing
Yeah.
for my challenge today, I'm talking about how you have not met homophobic people
Yeah.
until you're around Nigerians. And yet, they are the most religious people.
Mhm.
What is that already? And then I realized, you know what? You can't always blame them because
Mhm.
they don't know what they don't know. However,
Mhm.
once you know better, you
Yeah.
got to do better. You
Yeah.
got to do better.
Yeah.
So the homophobia in the Black community,
Mhm.
it is just, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's hurtful. I think I would say too, I think it's if you like reduce it and you really like deduct, I really do feel that it's a sense of protectionism. Like
Mm,
we want to present the best Black person,
mm.
to represent the race, because whatever you
Come on through. Jesus Christ. Who else
I'm-
felt that? Who else felt that? Woo! Big words.
yeah,
Protectionism. What the heck is that? I'm stealing it.
take it.
I
take
knew Ruby
it.
was gonna. I knew first I was gonna say something. First I said it hurts so much when another minority upholds westernized ideologies. Yes,
Yeah, it's
woo!
really
Look
more
at
so hurtful
the
than anything.
model minority.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't think that it's, and I've looked at research on this. I don't think that it's actually like the frequency is higher. I just think that it stings a little bit more. So
It's thing that it hurts that
yeah.
much more. That means first cut is the deepest, last cut is the deepest. It's
Mhm.
the same. It's the same story of when Brutus. For those of you who did literature, I was Chaos Cassius in the Julius Caesar play in high school and in the state. It's the same feeling that Julius Caesar had when Brutus stabbed him.
Right.
Everybody was stabbing Julius, and he was
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm.
And when Brutus, his brother, his road
Mhm.
dog, his ride or die,
Mhm.
that stab was the deepest. And he said,
Mhm.
"Et tu, Brute," and then fall Caesar. And then the curtain comes
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
That is what I hear when another
Right.
Black person
Right, exactly. And these kind of conversations, my wife and I, and also one of our colleagues, we talk about it all the time, is that we don't typically have these kind of conversations in mixed company because they can be taken out of context.
yes,
It can be seen like we're bashing our community, and we're
yes.
not. We're speaking our experiences, and we're demanding more.
And we're asking to be heard. Everybody's
Yeah.
experience is valid. We're asking to be heard. Nobody's experience should be diminished because you're Black. I shouldn't say that Black people are homophobic, but Black people are homophobic.
Right.
I'm not saying all Black people, but there's truth in that. And was there any lies detected? Go ahead, my friend. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult conversation to navigate, but I think that there's nuance that we have not talked about a lot in the past, in terms of like where that homophobia comes from and where those ideologies come from. Like, if I when I first started transitioning, my masculinity was so toxic. Like, I wanted to be like the most male Black man. Like, when you say it with your chest, like
DMX.
Right. So my wife Leah, she gifted me several Bell Hooks books and was like, "Nah, you need to read this right now." And so I just started reading a lot of Black feminist literature, because I was trying to uphold this idea of the powerful, dominant Black man for a long time, and it was really hurtful to our relationship. It was eroding the trust. And so I had to realize, like, so one of the chapters in Bell Hooks' book, We Real Cool, is plantation patriarchy. So if you could think about what I'm about to say, where that kind of patriarchy originates from, you know, we were not responsible for injecting that. It's very colonial.
It's very
However,
colonial.
yeah. So when we like not only here, but obviously on the continent, that, Dr. Lulu.
Oh yes,
So
of course.
but as you say, once we know better, we need to do better. And I think that now in the very digital era that we live in, where everybody has a microphone to tell their stories, yes, we still do have that pressure of representation, but we also don't need to put, the cranes on each other to feel the pressure to be everything for everybody. I'm not for everybody. Like, everybody can't take everything I have to say. And that's part of the reason why I have not been out from under my rock in 10 years.
I know. I wish this show was like 5 days long, because you, my brother, you have so much to say. And I want to tag you. And I know Kim is listening in the back. Kim, please remember, whenever, if ever, I have that convention that I'm going to have for Black parents of trans kids, I need Mai to be in the space, because you're trans and then you're
I'll be there.
But
sure.
I'm just so excited, because this is such a beautiful conversation. It could go on and on and on. Before I bring everybody else back, we have 5 minutes to go. I want to ask you a couple of questions and then I'll let you go. So what I'm hearing you say is, number one, Black feminist lit is what I need to be reading, because my kid, who is of trans experience, is the queen of Black feminist lit. Like, reads, I don't know, 7 books a week, because she's a voracious reader. But I've been avoiding Black feminist lit. I don't know why. I have, to some extent. I read African feminist lit, aka one person, Chimamanda Adichie, and that's it. But and I also hear compassion from your wife is what saved you, because as you and I know,
yes,
toxic
that's
masculinity, yes, toxic masculinity is not good. So tell us more about the compassion from your wife that I think is what literally saved you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would say that saved me for sure, and like her grace and just her supporting me. Like, so we both have like relative family strain with our families of origin, and so we've been together since we were 17 years old. So, and we're now 30. So 30 and 31. Yeah. So we've been adulting together this whole time.
Black love in the house. Ruby, can you hear that?
We've been adulting together this whole time and figuring out how to be adults together. And so not only have I been transitioning all this time, but she also was diagnosed with chronic illnesses and been dealing with that as well. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 20, right after her 20th birthday. And then she was diagnosed with lupus about 4 years later. And then when we had our 2.5-year-old, she had preeclampsia. So we've been dealing with this magnitude of identity issues as we've grown older together
and navigated the waters.
Yeah. So her compassion and her grace has definitely saved me, because we were kind of like parenting each other in a lot of ways. And so for her to be, still be my friend throughout all this has been paramount in helping me to survive. And hopefully I've been able to do that a little bit for her in her journeys as well. But yeah, I mean, without her partnership, I don't think that I would be standing here. I mean, I've had my times where, I was ready to end everything. And she was right there with me in the hospital and, going to my follow-up care. So yeah, she has been definitely the rock for sure.
I love it. Leah, take your flowers, honey. You know what, Leah? I'm taking the flowers from Mai and I'm giving it to you. I love it. Mai, you have been amazing. I'm going to bring everyone else from backstage back to the front so we can kind of wrap this up. This has been amazing. And also I wanted to mention, as they come back in, what you mentioned, which is what I said, I think a week or two ago, when one person in the family transitions, everybody else transitions. And that's why my practice, which I'm going to be opening, is going to explore that space where We look at the sibling who is transitioning, the child who is transitioning, the
Mm.
spouse who is transitioning, the parent. We're all transitioning together. Ruby,
Right.
no, I keep saying Ruby. I'm sorry. Foster. Foster, please remind me. Let us recommend Mai and his wife to X Hood. What do you think?
Yes.
Yes! Mai, okay, Foster, tell
We
Mai
should be
about
at the-
X Hood, honey. Yes.
They first off, they have their own accounts on all platforms, so you can find them on Instagram. You just look up Xhood. But if you're active on Facebook, they have an amazing group online, which is it really helped me, especially during the pandemic.
Mm.
It's just for Black queer parents, just all aspects. If you're a Black queer parent under that whole umbrella, like, it is welcome. One of my favorite things, especially as a non-binary person, is they are very gender affirming. There are a lot of queer spaces online that are support groups that allow
Foster, did you just say that? Foster,
Yeah,
did you
like-
remember when I made that post?
Yeah, I'm like, you
That was
will see
the
me
one
in there.
person.
You'll see me in there online. I'll be like, can we get an admin? Can we get an admin?
Can we get an admin?
Because when y'all said safe space, I thought safe space. This is not where I'm not here to educate. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to just like chill.
Mhm.
So I will say Xhood allows that. If anyone that is a Black queer parent or prospective parent, find that space, because it's you just get to let your hair down.
Mm.
Just get to let your
And
hair
just be
down.
yourself, yes. They
As
have
a
an
Black queer
annual
person,
conference.
you have your they have, and that's how we met.
That's where we
was
met,
at this
yeah.
summit.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
it's just amazing just to see so many, like, on an intersectional level,
Mhm,
to just be Black and exist, to be queer, like my sexuality and exist, my gender and just exist. Like, I just get to come in here and just be.
Mm.
And it really is beautiful. So again, Xhood. And if you guys, I will comment it or link it or something. But
Yeah, please
yes,
do.
you and your wife, y'all need, come on,
Come on
family.
through.
Come on,
So
family.
welcome back to the show, Kim, Foster, Vicky, welcome. And everyone who's watching, all 11 of you on LinkedIn watching, do me a favor. If you have any questions, type them in the comments. If you have any questions for our guest, for the other co-hosts, I'm going to let the co-hosts ask questions, because I've been asking questions. You all know me. I'll be taking notes. If anybody has any questions for please. Thank you so much to Gender Diversity Training, our friend of the show, Amy, right? Is it Amy? I forgot. Ooh, she's going to get me. But thank you so much for your comments. I saw you. I want you to know that I see you, girl. But so we'll take questions, we'll take comments, anything to the guest today, because that was...
I'll go first, because I don't really have a lot of questions. I just want to say, thank you so much for coming in. And I mean, you saw me in the comments. I was gone. So because we see each other.
Yeah, for real.
I'm right here with you. So thank you. I love hearing it from other people similar to me. And so just thank you for coming and sharing. And thank you, my wife, for coming and supporting and not giving up on your husband, for supporting him in love. Because it's hard to do that. Toxic masculinity makes you. So thank you. I will let Kim and Vicky ask whatever questions they have.
Thank you, Foster. Appreciate it.
So I just, there were a couple of things. I made some notes as you were talking, because as you were speaking, there were words that resonated with my daughter's experience of transitioning and in high school. And several things you said, it would be nice to know how you feel now as far as where your energy goes, because you're married, you're a husband, you're a parent. And I just want to applaud you, because a couple of things you said. You talked about passing. You said the word stealth, which resonated because my transgender daughter, when she was in high school, stealth was a word she would use sometimes, going and coming home and no one seeing her. Talked about that. And that was before she told me she was trans. But stealth and that's sort of that being in a space and no one seeing you. That's exhausting in a way, not being seen. But you mentioned your job was not fulfilling and you were not your authentic self. So, it sounds to me like you're at a place where you're living authentically. And I tell my patients a lot, living your true self is key. Can you speak to where, now that you're living authentically, are you able to put your energy into other things,
Mhm.
career and your family?
Yeah, that's such a good pickup, because I do feel like I have a lot more energy now to do things that I actually enjoy. Um, I mentioned that I'm a writer outside of actually like academic research writing. I've done so much more creative writing that I'm ready to share now. And so yeah, I've been able to do that and just really pour into my art and draw more. So yeah, I was inspired before, but it was also like those layers of like heaviness of like, I got so much to say. I got so much I'm thinking about, like, how do I express it? And now I feel like I'm at like this point in my life too, emotionally, where I'm like, I'm now actually like really feeling my emotions and expressing my emotions. And it just feels like it's much overdue, but it's definitely timely because I'm raising two Black girls. So you know, so that is a job in and of itself to be an emotion coach for my kids. So I definitely am able to just like sit in my emotions more, feel my emotions. This is like recent, as of like the past couple of months. So yeah, so besides art, definitely just being able to pour into like love and joy and emotion into my family.
And you know, when I think about it, this is why I'm here. Every human being, right, deserves that right. I mean,
Hmm.
to be able to live their authentic self and to put their energy into things they're passionate about, like their family and their job. And
Right.
I think that's why that's why we're here, so that our children, my children, can live their authentic lives
Hmm.
freely, so they can put their energy into their work.
Other things, right.
Right.
Remove the
Right.
extra and unnecessary
What about
stress.
Kimmy? Did you have any comments?
I'm
Kimmy?
just writing feverishly over here.
Yeah, okay, well, you got X amount of minutes. Go ahead.
I'm kind of glad we turned the camera off. I was jumping around like a fool back here, but I, you know, so much of what you said is so important, and I just want to talk about. You had mentioned like when you were talking to people about your previous sports career,
Hmm.
and on women's sports, and that
Yeah.
that in itself, for me, I mean, my youngest was and still is very athletic, and now that, you know, he's going through some young transition
Right.
phases, it's, you know, it definitely, I don't know, I never thought about the angle that you might have to make something up, or at
Hmm.
least try to frame your story when you're talking to people that you've never met before.
Right.
Like, yeah, I played, you know, college, or I played in high school, and to have to modify your story in any
Hmm.
way when you get such confidence and such
Hmm. Right.
adrenaline and such joy out of playing a sport, and to have to
Hmm.
modify your story, you know,
Right.
I want to hear a little bit more about that, because
Hmm.
I never I never thought of that angle, and it
Hmm.
really opened my eyes to it.
Hmm.
I don't
So
know if you can speak
yeah,
to it.
yeah, I definitely can. I mean, I've thought about this a lot. It's definitely been a huge driver for me to just be out and open. Because like
Yeah.
what you mentioned, like getting a athletic scholarship to a Division I college is a huge accomplishment. It was what I was working my whole childhood for. And then once I started
Absolutely.
transitioning, I was like, I should probably not say that. But I'll tell a quick story. When I was at a job interview for a job, probably was my second job out of college. And I was in there talking to the guy, and I didn't know I was passing at the time. This was the first space where nobody knew that I was trans. So my name was changed, my pronouns, but I didn't look at myself and see man. So the person who was interviewing me, he called me. He was like, Miss Mai, and I was like, looked, and I was like, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, Mister. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'm passing. Okay. So I get into the interview, and he's like, tell me about yourself. Oh, I see that you play basketball. And so we start talking about basketball. He's like, oh, let me look you up. You had highlights. Were you a draft pick? Could you possibly go to the NBA? And I was like,
Ooh.
I froze. I was like, oh shit, I am passing. Let me
Oh,
keep this
snap.
up.
Oh, shit.
Let me
Love
keep
it.
this up.
He said
And yeah,
about
Oh
so
my,
that.
right. And so my name was
oh,
different. And so he's Googling me. Now he's like, I don't see you. You're like, is this the school that you went to? I don't see, like, so, and he's looking at the men's roster, and I'm like, So I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm trying to change the subject like really, really hard, but he was not
Politely.
letting it go.
Here, look over here.
Yeah, but and that's also then realized too a lot about male privilege was like he wasn't asking me anything about my experience. He just cared that I played basketball and that maybe I could have went to the NBA. So I started to just kind of just like, damn, like that that is so stupid.
Yeah.
But so that was difficult. That was really, really hard. And there was a lot of other experiences that I had where I realized that I was passing. I had to like actually like behave more masculinely in the sense of like how I was interacting with women. And you know, I didn't want to come off as like I was flirting when I was just having like conversations about like hair or things that I was interested in that was not so male. So yeah, I have a lot of those kinds of experiences. But what I would say is like once you decide that you don't give a fuck anymore about what people are saying,
Yeah,
then
Thank you.
you might just say a couple words and just drop the mic. So the last story.
That's my favorite phrase. Oh no, you didn't. Y'all know I say that all the time, honey. On this show, Kimmy, remember we said every day on this show, there's always something brings it up. We end up saying we do not care and we don't give a
you
fuck.
just have
We
to
ran out
stop
of fucks
caring.
again, honey.
No, we don't give a fuck.
So the last
No,
this is where when I really stopped caring. It was actually an older black guy. He was being super nice. We were the only two black people in the space at work, and he was like, "My, what kind of name is that?" And I was like, should I give him my story? Should I give the new story I came up with? And so I was like, I chose it, and he was like, huh? And I didn't say anything else after that. And that was it. I chose my name. Period.
Yeah, period.
And he didn't ask any questions.
Exactly. He stopped the question. He stopped it right there. That's exactly what I did to that lady. Going. And I said, thank you. Whoop. She was like, no, that was it. Love it.
Yeah. And I wasn't rude to him because he wasn't trying to be rude to me. He was just trying to learn more about me. He was trying to understand maybe my ethnicity. He was trying to figure out who I was, and he was trying to bond with me because we were the only two black men in the space. So I was fed up, but I was not going to be rude to him. And also in the black community, like this guy was probably like older than my grandmother at the time.
Yes.
So I was like, you know, Mr. So-and-so, like, that's it. I wasn't going to like go off on him or call him out or anything because he wasn't being transphobic. And I think also that's another thing. That's another thing that we need to be cognizant of as trans folks, that not everybody has the intention of being transphobic. Like the person in FedEx, when I have a mask on, she might call me ma'am because she sees my hair and like she might think I'm pretty, but she's not trying to, you know, be transphobic. So I think there's levels to it.
I love that. That's a great place to end the show. Thank you all so much for watching today. The fact that not everyone is out to get you, and so we should give everyone the benefit of the doubt. However, we cannot help but be humans, and humans are usually judged by our past experiences. So let's just hold space for each other. But that was a beautiful place to end the show. The show is called Moms for Trans Kids Podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu. Y'all, thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Leah, Abby, Vicky, Kim, Foster, and of course, the beautiful, handsome, talented, eye candy, my Dr. Rowe, everyone who joined us today. Castle, Nikki Castle. Y'all, join us next Sunday for more real talk. That's Kim's word. Kim says real talk. For more real talk.
I bring it real. You bring the real.
Yes.
We all bring
it.
And we all bring
about navigating transness. But before we go, how can the people find you and support you and give you love? Where can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn for sure is if you want to pay me to do something, you can find me on LinkedIn. Instagram, if you want to see my family, Ani Efuna, my last name, and the word love is the handle. And actually, very recently, I just created a Substack because I'm trying to put my writing out there.
Me too. I'm trying to get paid for my writing.
Yeah, so the domain is passing.substack.com. So
I'll let Foster, either Foster or Kim Either Foster or Kim, please write that down so we can highlight it in the
Got
little
it.
comment
Yeah,
section.
now I have to publish a whole bunch of stuff so y'all can
Yeah,
definitely
because
read
we
it.
already, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, 'cause
So
I
can you
haven't
say that
published
one more
anything.
time? Can you say that one more time again for those at the back, please?
Yeah,
The
it's
Substack.
so the Substack is passing.substack.com, and there will be new stuff published within the next 24 hours since y'all
All
know
right.
I have the domain.
Don't forget
Yeah.
to put a hyperlink to our show. Hint, hint.
Got
Oh,
you,
talking
got
about
you.
our show. So
You just see the bio right
tomorrow,
now.
tomorrow, officially, this show is going to be published and going live on Apple Podcasts. Y'all, thank you so much to everyone
Beautiful.
who watched us today. I will put the link to the wait list in this comment section. And then after tonight, beginning tomorrow, it's going to go live at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then tomorrow morning, we'll start sharing the Apple link. We want to debut at the top 100 if we can. So want as many people as possible to like it, subscribe, and share at the same time
Yes,
once it goes live at
please.
8 o'clock in the morning. Thank you all so much for listening. I have had fun. Have y'all had fun or was it just me?
I'm so
Oh my
glad
gosh,
I
that
was
was
doing that. I
awesome.
told you I needed that mama bear love. I appreciate
You
it.
got it.
I feel like I got
Oh,
the
give
love
me-
right
You've
back.
got 4
For
new
me,
moms.
so
You've
many
got
things.
4
Real.
new moms. Now. Yeah.
That's a lot of
For sure.
siblings. I got some really
Yes, yes, and grand siblings. And grand siblings. My grandfather had 8 wives. You don't want to know how many siblings. So yeah, you got a lot of
welcome to the
cousins.
family, my.
Lots of cousins.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story.
Thanks for
and
having
thank you
me.
to your wife for coming as well and supporting. I
I'm gonna
love it.
follow
I love
that
it.
research.
Maybe
Look
we
forward
can get y'all back for like a couples
For sure.
type
For
show.
sure.
That would be amazing too.
Oh yeah, you know, I wrote that down. Oh my God, like minds. I wrote that down. I said we're going to have a couples show.
Yes,
So
I
we
was
last
like,
week we had.
why
Yes,
is
we're
wife
going to
on
have a
here?
couples show.
That's
Maybe in
good.
February for Valentine's. Maybe we'll have a couple.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
here for it. I'm here
Ideas.
for it.
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
ideas. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a couples show. It's decided. We're going to have a celebration show. It's
Exactly.
decided.
So you have to
And
see
what
her.
I'll just do is for somebody,
her.
please, Kim, somebody remind me to beg the guest that's scheduled for February 14th-ish to please come back another day because we're having a couple show because we need to have couples. Yeah, this is so fun.
Yes.
Y'all, this is what happens on the Moms for Trans Kids show. We're not sad. We're not crying. We're not, oh my God. We have those emotions, but we're trying to surpass them and circumvent them, go over them, downright chew through them because there's so much joy on the other side.
Mhm.
Join us again next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. Central for the Moms for Trans Kids podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu. We are out. Bye.
Peace and love, y'all.
See ya.
Woo!